I see you. I see you over there.
I have a very quick statement.
It's not going to be that quick.
Pete Hegseth has denied any wrongdoing. His lawyer said he paid the woman in 2023 to head off the threat of a baseless lawsuit. No charges were ever brought.
You rushed me for that? We'll be right back.
Almost equally important, maybe as important, is what we're doing to our children with this trans.
Our bodies are no debate. Our bodies are no debate. Speaker Johnson, Nancy May. Speaker Johnson, Nancy May. Our bodies are no debate. Our bodies are no debate. Speaker Johnson, Nancy May. Speaker Johnson, Nancy May. Our bodies are no debate.
And this is almost my single issue. We are chopping off the healthy body parts of young children without, 100% we are doing that.
Well, we are definitely doing that.
Without any inquisition.
That's what it is. So
into
I don't know
what's
what
happening.
the oohing is about.
I don't either. Pay attention, because I'm about to give you a truth bomb. Kids who are suffering from bullying or who have been sexually assaulted or who are going through normal puberty and feel uncomfortable in their bodies will say to their parents, I'm not sure, maybe I'm gender confused. They will send them into a psychiatrist or psychologist who are told by our organizations, the American Psychiatry Association and all the others that run their licensing, you must affirm. Affirm is the only standard. And so the child gets told, you're right, you are secretly a boy, or vice versa. And the child gets put on puberty blockers, into cross-sex hormones, which sterilize a child and deprive the child of any chance of sexual pleasure for the rest of his or her life. We're talking about 9, 10, 11-year-olds who cannot give informed consent. Then they have body parts chopped off by a medical establishment and by parents who mean well but believe in these doctors, and they shouldn't.
Trump has done it again against all the odds, against the media, and against the political establishment that doubted him every step of the way. He has won. And we're talking about why Trump has made the biggest political comeback in modern history, and why Kamala Harris, let's be honest, was never right about the candidate to begin with. You know, first I'll talk about Trump himself. Say what you want about Donald Trump, but he knows how to connect with the average American person. He speaks the language, understands their frustrations, and fights for the issues that we care about. He truly will make America great again. Now, whether it's securing borders, cutting taxes, or standing up to foreign powers, or creating peace around the world, Trump showed once again he's not a politician, he is a fighter. And that's what he is.
After repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, etc., as if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, you know, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, you know, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, you know, whether or not, you know, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, you know, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, oh, you know, nobody's above the law, I respect, you know, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. Listen, they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. He don't have to do that.
This election wasn't just about policy, though. It was about trust, and millions of Americans felt left behind in the last 4 years. Inflation, rising crime, and a lack of leadership, it all built up to a breaking point. Trump offered the solutions that resonated, bringing back jobs, ensuring energy independence, and putting America first. These are Republican values, but they're also common sense values. Let's talk about Kamala. From day one, her candidacy was rocky. Sure, she made history as the first female vice president, first, African-American vice president, but being historic doesn't always mean being effective. Her approval ratings were constantly low, because people didn't really see her as relatable or competent. Her record has riddled with controversy. As California's Attorney General, she faced criticism for being too tough on certain communities, the black communities, the Latino communities, and she failed to address the key issues like homelessness and crime. I mean, she's from San Francisco, California, and just look at that city now. In fact, just look at the whole entire state of California. It's just a total whack house, a total crack job house.
That he will not drink alcohol if he is confirmed. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, good for him. That doesn't change the fact that he's unqualified, that his policies dishonor the women of our military, and his past actions, which always, in my view, are a good indication of future actions, undermine his credibility in the first instance. So, fine. I mean, say what he needs to say, but this man should set no foot within inside the Pentagon, in my view.
I do want to ask you about another one of these picks here. You are on House Intel, which is one of several congressional committees with oversight of the FBI.
What's your sense of where the Hexit pick is headed here?
Well, just given what one sees on camera, if you're too drunk for Fox News, you're very, very drunk indeed. So that's alarming. In 1989, President George H.W. Bush nominated John Tower, senator from Texas, for Secretary of Defense. Now, Tower was a very considerable person, a real defense intellectual, someone who deeply understood defense, unlike the current nominee. And it emerged that Tower had a drinking problem. And when he was drinking too much, he would make himself a nuisance or worse to the women around him. And for that reason, his nomination collapsed in 1989. You don't want to think that our moral standards have declined so much that you could say, let's take all the drinking, all the sex pesting, subtract any knowledge of defense, subtract any leadership, and there's your next Secretary of Defense for the 21st century.
Ed Luce, the colleagues, his colleagues at Fox News have been concerned.
And then as vice president, she often seemed absent from important decisions. Where was she during the Ukraine war? Where was she during the Israel-Palestine conflict? Where was she for Gaza? Where was she for the people at the border? Where was she to stop the immigration? When inflation skyrocketed, where did she go? Nowhere. And voters noticed this. Trump's campaign was simple but powerful. Strength, prosperity, and patriotism. He reminded Americans what life was like when gas was affordable. A bag of bread was affordable. A carton of eggs was good. A carton of milk was good. Those were the times when Donald Trump was president. Peace was just everywhere. It was such a good time. Compared to now with Joe Biden in office, and hopefully he's leaving now, without any problems. We have somebody else coming into office like Donald Trump. He's going to make America great again. He's going to make things perfect the way they are. And compare that to the uncertainty of the past few years, like I said, from 2020 when Joe Biden took office, and the choice was clear for many voters. Trump's rallies were always electric. People lined up for hours to hear him speak. He energized his unapologetic style, his willingness to call the corruption in America. But Kamala Harris, on the other hand, she couldn't even fit a small venue. She has no one attending her crowds, no one attending her rallies. I mean, what is this woman going on about? There's nobody watching. There's nobody even supporting Kamala Harris. It's true. It is a fact. That's 100% a fact. Americans are tired of being told what to think by the elites, by the media in Hollywood. They're tired of being told what to say, told what to do. They're tired of being controlled by the mainstream media, tired of being controlled by the left liberals and Democrats, and now they want some freedom. They're getting the freedom with President Trump. We're here to act and actually get things done.
You know what? People are upset with some of our guests, some of our friends. Maybe we snuck up on them too fast. Maybe we should have given them more of a warning. Whatever, it's fine. But guess what? The main complaint was that we called Donald Trump's rhetoric fascist during the campaign. And then we went down to have an off-the-record comment with him. Guess who else does that?
Let me see. From the New York Times,
the New York
Washington
Times,
Post, the Wall Street. You know what? I even think folks from the Atlantic.
I think actually,
I think they might
probably
be doing that.
If they have a chance to talk on the background with the incoming president and president-elect, they would do it. In fact, as somebody wrote during this outrageously stupid, immature series of articles that lied time and time again about us, reporter said, I'd be fired.
On the same weekend that Donald Trump chose his daughter's father-in-law, a convicted felon, to serve as ambassador to France, After Donald Trump pardoned him, Joe Biden chose to pardon his son for crimes that surely would not have been prosecuted if Hunter Biden's father were not the president of the United States when Joe Biden was running for re-election, and assuming he would serve another 4 years in office, he said he would not pardon his son. But things have changed dramatically since he said that, with Donald Trump's election and Donald Trump's public promise to use the full force of federal prosecutorial power against his political enemies, which include anyone named Biden. To carry out that promise, Donald Trump nominated the absurdly unqualified Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. That nomination went down in flames of truth in a matter of days. And then this weekend, Donald Trump nominated an equally unqualified Trump acolyte for Director of the FBI, Kash Patel, who has promised to use federal investigative power to harm Trump enemies.
You know, they saw the bias, and many independents and even Democrats crossed party lines for Trump. Why? It's because we care more about results than rhetoric. We care more about action than supposedly theories that Kamala Harris has come up about. We care more about our wallets, our families, and our futures. We don't care about anything else. But let's give credit when credit's due. The Republican Party showed up this time. They learned from the mistakes of 2020 and invested heavily in grassroots efforts. Campaigning all over the place. Trump got so many people from all across the nation to help him out, and the Republican Party worked together this time to get things done. People from Jeb Bush to Marco Rubio to Rick Scott to people in Greg Abbott. You know, the Republican Party showed up. Even the people in California, they showed up to help Donald Trump win this. It's not a win just for Trump, but for the conservative movement as a whole. Now, what does this mean moving forward? It just means Trump's victory is a reminder that the American people still believe in the values that build this country: hard work, freedom, and putting America first. It's a rejection of the far-left policies that we never even want to talk about. But let's get this message straight. We want to talk about Trump. Donald Trump, he knows how to win. Like I said, he knows how to get things done. We can't even talk about Kamala Harris because she wasn't even an option. No events, no energy at rallies, a bunch of just celebrity callouts. You know, enthusiasm does drive turnouts, but turnout does not win elections. Trump knew how to win. We're done with the far left policies. You know, one of the biggest takeaways is that Americans are done with far left policies. We've seen a push for extreme ideas, defund the police, open borders.
Now that Trump has won, you say that you don't think cable news will ever truly cover him honestly again. Why?
Well, not even just cable news, no network. Nobody, because they didn't do it before, so why would they do it now? They're scared to death. He's the president of the United States of America.
Have you watched The View?
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Sonny, I saw you have to apologize a couple times last week, so somebody's coming with some notes from downstairs.
I'm not apologizing.
Okay.
I'm making a legal note as an attorney of law.
Because you know we have a petty president, our incoming,
yes.
that is going to be...
Yeah. No, look, some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that.
I want to let your viewers know exactly who I am.
All right.
Set the record straight. I am a patriot. I love our country. I am a strong and intelligent woman of color, and I have dedicated almost my entire adult life to protecting the safety, security, and the freedom of all Americans in this country. It was the attacks on 9/11.
We're getting a little bit far ahead of ourselves, but Franklin Graham finds you refreshing. He doesn't find me refreshing. Richard Spencer, the white nationalist leader, says he could vote for you.
Joy, this is why
you're on Tucker Carlson at least 10 times. Why don't you go on Chris Wallace's show?
This is why I'm here, because you and other people continue to spread these innuendos that have nothing to do with who I am.
Well, Hillary Clinton started it, and then you shot back at her, boy. You called her the queen of warmongers.
You doubled down, unfortunately, you doubled down on the baseless accusations that she made that strikes at the core of who I am. I'm a soldier. Because of the attacks on 9/11, I enlisted in the military to go after and defeat and destroy the evil that visited us on that day. I've served now for over 16 years, deployed twice to the Middle East during the height of the war, where every single day I saw firsthand the terribly high human cost. That's why
very litigious.
Who is litigious, but that doesn't mean that's not a
we
mistake.
check ourselves.
But what does not normalizing?
Higher taxes, letting 1 million people in every single day. That's not what we want. We don't want more government control. We want America to be number one in the world. We want our wallets to be full of money, and we want groceries to be affordable for once. We want to put food on the table for our children. They want safety. We want security and the freedom to make our own choices. Trump was clearly the person for this. He stood up to the political establishment. He came back. We don't want socialism or communism. It's time for Trump to make America great again. And this, like I said, this win wasn't just about the election. It's a statement that America's dreams, the American dream, is alive and well. It doesn't stop here. It's time for Trump to make America great again.